You're rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body full of tats.
The inaugural race of the 2025 MotoGP in Qatar left Pramac Yamaha rider Jack Miller deeply disappointed. The Australian rider had to end the race early after a mid-race crash, which extended his less competitive record from the free practice session to the main race. Miller admitted that he had not yet found maximum comfort with his new bike, and said that adaptation to the Pramac Yamaha technical package was far from ideal. Honestly, we are not yet in the position I want. The bike setup hasn't clicked with my racing style, and that was felt from FP1 to the race. Today's crash is the result of pressure and motor conditions that are difficult to control, Miller said after the race. Miller's performance is a contrast to fellow Yamaha rider Fabio Quartararo. The former world champion from France appeared impressive and was able to compete in the front group throughout the race, even finishing in the podium position, showing that Yamaha still has great potential this season. Miller did not hesitate to recognize Quartararo's superiority. What Fabio showed was amazing. He makes Yamaha motorbikes look competitive and stable. We obviously need to learn a lot from his data and performance, added Miller. Now, Jack Miller and the Pramac Yamaha team are faced with a big homework to improve performance before the next series. The rider hopes to find the right feeling soon so he can compete at the top, as Quartararo showed in Qatar. And here's the full news. The night at Losail, Qatar, was a silent witness to two very different stories from the Yamaha camp in the opening series of MotoGP 2025. On the one hand, Fabio Quartararo stood tall on the podium, bringing pride to the factory Yamaha team after a consistent and competitive performance throughout the race. But on the other hand, Jack Miller, the new Pramac Yamaha satellite team rider, walked off the track with his head down, helmet still on, and a sense of disappointment that he could not hide. Jack Miller, who returned to Yamaha after adventures with Ducati and KTM, started this season with high expectations. Many hoped that his presence could strengthen Yamaha's front line, especially with his aggressive racing style and long experience in the premier class. But the reality in Qatar was far from sweet. Since Friday, Miller has struggled to find a rhythm. The satellite version of his YZR M1 bike didn't give him the confidence he needed, especially going into fast corners, one of his strengths. In the practice sessions, he was outside the top 10. In the qualifying session, he could only manage a starting position outside the front two rows. And when the starting lights went out, Miller tried to play aggressively, but struggled to maintain the stability of his bike. The catastrophe came on lap 11. While trying to overtake and close the gap to the middle group, Miller lost front tire grip when entering turn 6. The bike skidded, and he was thrown into the gravel. The race finished early for him. I'm really disappointed. We worked hard all weekend, but the results were not as expected. To be honest, I'm not yet one with this bike. It feels like I'm still learning from scratch, Miller said in an honest tone when interviewed in the paddock after the race. Furthermore, he explained that the difference in character between the Yamaha and the previous bikes he rode was very pronounced. This bike is smoother, more demanding of precision in every corner. My racing style, which tends to be aggressive, sometimes doesn't fit, and I have to learn to change my approach, he added. Interestingly, when Miller struggled with adaptation, Fabio Quartararo showed the opposite. The Yamaha factory rider looked comfortable from the start. He set fast times in practice and qualifying sessions, then appeared calm but firm in the race. He managed to keep his rhythm, avoid mistakes, and eventually get on the podium, a perfect start to the season for the Frenchman. I feel the bike is more stable this season, especially when braking and exiting corners. The team did a great job during pre-season, and today's result proves that our hard work was not in vain, said a happy Quartararo. When asked about the difference in performance between himself and Miller, Fabio was reluctant to comment too much. But he believes Miller just needs time. Jack is a great racer. I know he can be fast. I'm sure after a few series he will start to find his best touch, Fabio said briefly but empathetically. Now Jack Miller faces a big challenge. He must catch up in a relatively short time. The next series in Portimão, Portugal will be his next test. On a technical track that demands precision and high confidence, Miller is required to show progress. Pramac Yamaha team manager also spoke up about this situation. He stated that the team fully supports Miller and will not make hasty decisions. Jack is a talented rider. We know this season will not be easy, especially with a new bike and different technical challenges. But we believe in the process and his hard work, he said. Between two fates and a long hope. MotoGP always presents unexpected drama and dynamics. What Jack Miller experienced in Qatar is an illustration that not all journeys start perfectly. On the other hand, Fabio Quartararo's performance is proof that Yamaha can still be competitive, at least in the right hands. The season is still long. For Miller, this is just the first step in a long struggle to prove that he deserves to compete on the front row. And for MotoGP fans, this story has only just begun. Lusail, Qatar. Ahead of the inaugural MotoGP 2025 race at the Lusail International Circuit, Qatar, Pramac Yamaha team boss Paolo Campinotti made an important statement regarding his team's readiness, especially regarding their new rider, Jack Miller. Campinotti gave his full support and some strategic advice to the Australian rider, who this season officially strengthens the Yamaha satellite squad. Jack Miller is one of the big names to make a team switch in the 2024 season-ending transfer window. After 3 seasons with the factory KTM team, Miller decided to accept Pramac Yamaha's offer to race the YZR M1 and become an important part of the Yamaha satellite team's strengthening project that has continued to grow in recent years. Campinotti, who is known as a leader who is close to his riders, stated that Miller's recruitment was a very calculated decision. He called Miller a rider who has a combination of speed, strong character and experience at the highest level of MotoGP. We believe that Jack is an important piece in our puzzle this season. We don't just look at data or statistics, but also look at who he is as a person. Jack brings passion, determination and long experience that can be a big asset to compete this season, Campinotti said in an interview with Italian media in the Lusail paddock, Thursday, October 4th. Although he has only undergone a few test sessions with Yamaha motorbikes, Miller's performance is considered quite promising. In the official pre-season tests that took place in Sepang and Qatar, Miller recorded competitive times and provided many important inputs for the development of the team's motorbike. Campinotti admitted that the process of adapting riders to Yamaha bikes cannot be instant, especially for riders who were previously more familiar with the character of V4 engines such as those used by KTM and Ducati. But he emphasized that the progress shown by Miller was in line with expectations. The M1 is not an easy bike for all riders, especially those who come from different motorcycle characters. But Jack is working very hard. He continues to give feedback, is very communicative with technicians, and from day to day he looks more comfortable, added Campinotti. Furthermore, Campinotti emphasized that pressure should not be put too much on Miller at the start of the season. For him, Qatar is a place to build foundations, not just chasing instant results. I always say to Jack, enjoy this process. Don't think too much about expectations or pressure from outside. Just focus on progress. If you have fun while racing, then your best potential will come out on its own, Campinotti said. The team boss, who has long led Pramac, also highlighted Miller's contribution to the team's internal dynamics. According to him, Miller not only brings speed to the track, but also positive energy that can lift the morale of all team members. Jack is a very open person, likes to joke, and that helps keep team spirit high. But behind his casual attitude, he's very professional and knows when to be serious. His presence so far has really had a positive impact in our garage, said Campinotti. Pramac Yamaha itself entered the 2025 season with a higher target than previous seasons. After performing solidly in the last few seasons and consistently competing in the top 10 of the standings, they now hope to reach the podium regularly and, if possible, victory. Campinotti is optimistic that a combination of technical updates to the Yamaha bike, team solidity and Miller's experience can take Pramac to the next level. We don't want to just be a complimentary team. We want to be a contender. Jack knows that, and he came here with great enthusiasm to bring Pramac to compete in the top flight. We know this season will be difficult, but we are ready to fight. The Lusail circuit, which hosts the opening series of the 2025 MotoGP on Sunday, April 13th, is known as a challenging track with a fast character and long straights. In recent seasons, Yamaha has been quite competitive here, but challenges from teams like Ducati, Aprilia and KTM remain a concern. Miller himself seemed enthusiastic about welcoming his racing debut with Pramac Yamaha. In a press conference held the day before, he said he was ready to give everything on the track. "I didn't come here to play around. This is a new start, and I want to prove that I still have a lot to give in MotoGP. Pramac gave me great trust, and I want to repay it on the track," Miller said. With all the preparation and support available, the public's eyes will now be on Jack Miller's first performance with Pramac Yamaha in Qatar. Is he able to immediately appear competitive? Or does it still take time to fully adapt? What is certain is that Campinetti and the entire team stand behind him, providing unconditional support for the number 43 rider.
Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me, cause she got a bad little waist. And we tearing down this place, off the liquor that we chase. Casamigos to the face, baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on that tight frame. All game, no shame, baby, came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. Got a fine little body and her mind's kinda naughty. They say that once you taste it, you cannot replace it. She could get you high, all the dopamine inside triggers fast once she's naked. Her body's a creation. They say the devil made her for his entertainment, but even he couldn't learn how to contain it. Her high heels make a damn good statement. There is no replacement, a body by Satan. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place, off the liquor that we chase. Casamigos to the face, baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine,